You can pay hundreds of dollars for a plane ticket and still miss help the airline may provide for free. Not luxury perks, practical help, a meal that fits your medical needs, assistance through a massive airport, a better seat when your body can't handle the one you were given, a refund question that can be worth more than a voucher, and near the end, we'll get to 3 letters most passengers have never said at an airport, but in the right situation, they can change who handles the conversation. The tricky part is that airlines rarely explain these options clearly. The app won't walk you through every situation. The gate agent is busy, and if you don't know the right words, you may walk past help that was available the whole time. There's also a catch. Some of these are legal protections. Some are airline policies. Some depend on your ticket, your airport, or your situation. Use them wrong, and a free perk can turn into a travel headache. So today, we're going through 12 things you may be able to ask for in 2026, what to ask for, when it applies, and how to do it without creating problems for yourself. We'll start at the worst possible moment, when the airline changes the plan and everyone at the gate is staring at the same screen. You're at the gate, the flight is delayed, the app offers you a new itinerary that gets you there tomorrow, the agent says maintenance, and half the crowd starts refreshing their phones like they're personally rebooting the plane. Before you tap accept, ask one question. Is this a controllable delay? If the problem is within the airline's control, crew, maintenance, cleaning, fueling, baggage loading, you may be able to get help with meals or a hotel if you're stuck overnight. If the answer is yes, make the request simple. Can you help me with the meal voucher or hotel accommodation for this situation? No speech, no performance, no dramatic courtroom energy. The shorter and clearer you are, the easier it is for the agent to answer. Weather and air traffic control usually don't count, so don't expect the same help if a thunderstorm shuts down half the East Coast. Refunds are different. If your flight is canceled or significantly changed and you don't accept the new itinerary, you may be owed a cash refund instead of a voucher. Under US rules, a significant change can mean arriving 3 hours late on a domestic flight or 6 hours late on an international one. A meal voucher helps tonight, a hotel helps overnight, but if the new flight doesn't work, the refund is the bigger move. Money can fix part of the mess, but at some airports, the bigger problem is that the person who needs help is expected to disappear behind security alone. Airport security can feel like a hard line. On one side, there's the family member who knows the airport, knows the connection, and knows exactly what kind of help is needed. On the other side, there's mom, dad, a child flying alone, or a traveler with a disability, now expected to find the gate, handle the crowd, listen for announcements, and manage the stress by themselves. That moment can feel awful, and in some situations, there may be a way to handle it. One family member or helper may be allowed to go through TSA with the passenger using what's usually called an escort pass. This is meant for travelers who genuinely need help getting to the gate. An older passenger with mobility trouble, someone with a disability or medical condition, or a child flying alone. Start at the airline check-in counter, not the TSA line. The airline is the one that may issue the pass. The helper needs a valid government ID and still goes through security like everyone else. A simple way to ask is, my mother needs help getting to the gate. Can we get an escort pass for one family member to assist her? Keep it honest and specific. One helper is realistic, the whole family reunion is not. Give yourself extra time, and remember, this is usually easier on domestic departures. International flights can be stricter because customs and immigration rules get involved. If the airline says no, some airports have visitor pass programs you can apply for online ahead of time, but that depends on the airport. So don't assume it's automatic, but if someone truly needs help getting to the gate, this is absolutely worth asking about. Getting to the plane is only half the battle. On a long flight, the wrong meal can turn 6 hours in the air into a very uncomfortable guessing game. This one sounds small until you're on a long flight, hungry, tired, and realizing the regular meal cart has nothing you can actually eat. On many full-service international flights, special meals are available at no extra charge. That can help if you manage blood sugar, avoid certain ingredients, follow a religious diet, or need food that works with medication. The timing matters here. Choose the meal through Manage My Booking at least 24 to 48 hours before departure, then make sure it still appears in your reservation. Once you're on board, mention it early to the flight attendant working your section. I requested a diabetic meal. Could you please check if it's loaded for this seat? That's much better than trying to fix it when the meal cart is already blocking the aisle. Special meals may be served earlier, which can help if you need to eat on schedule. Just remember, they're made for dietary needs, not better taste. And if food timing matters for your health, bring a backup snack in case the request gets lost during a flight change. Food needs to be settled before the flight. Your roller bag gets its little drama scene much later, right when everyone is crowding around the gate. This is the free option that can still cost you money if your ticket doesn't actually include the bag. When a flight is packed, you'll often hear the gate agent say, "We're looking for volunteers to check carry-on bags at the gate." For some travelers, that's a headache. For others, it's a relief. If your fare includes a carry-on, volunteering early can save you from lifting a roller bag over your head, fighting for bin space, or dragging it down a narrow aisle while everyone silently judges your steering skills. The trap is the ticket type. On some basic economy fares, especially with certain airlines, a full-size carry-on may not be included at all. If your ticket only allows a personal item, showing up with a roller bag can still cost you at the gate, crowded flight or not. So know what your fare includes. If your carry-on is allowed and the gate agent is asking for volunteers, say, "Can I gate check this to my final destination?" Listen for the words "final destination." If you have a connection, make sure the tag isn't sending your bag only to the stop in between. Before you hand it over, pull out anything you can't afford to lose: medication, passport, wallet, keys, laptop, chargers, glasses, and anything fragile. A checked carry-on is still a checked bag. It can be delayed, damaged, or stuck at baggage claim while everyone else walks out. Just make sure the bag you hand over doesn't contain the stuff you'll panic about 30 seconds later. Then again, sometimes the problem isn't the bag at all. It's the walk, the endless terminal walk nobody warned you about when you booked the connection. Picture this. You land in Dallas with a tight connection, your gate is in a different terminal, and the app says it's a 12-minute walk, which somehow means 12 minutes for an Olympic speed walker with no carry-on. That's where airport assistance can change the day. This is about getting through the airport itself, from check-in to the gate, between terminals, or through a connection without turning the trip into an endurance test. Airlines can provide wheelchair assistance or guided help through the airport, including help to your gate and sometimes during connections. For older travelers, passengers with limited mobility, or anyone recovering from surgery, this can turn a punishing airport walk into something manageable. You can usually add it in the booking, through the Airline app, or under sections labeled Special Assistance, Accessibility, or Wheelchair Assistance. At the airport, go to the airline counter or Special Assistance desk and say, "I requested wheelchair assistance. Could you please help me get to my gate?" If you have a connection, be clear. "I'll also need assistance during my connection in Dallas." That matters at big airports like Dallas, Atlanta, Chicago, or Denver, where the gate can feel like it belongs to a different county. Just don't assume a golf cart will be waiting. Most help comes as a wheelchair and a staff member, and busy airports can have waits. So give yourself enough connection time. The point is simple. Airport assistance helps you reach the aircraft without burning through all your energy before the flight even begins. When you finally reach the gate, the problem changes. Now, it's not the distance anymore, it's the boarding rush. Pre-boarding is not a status perk. It's not a race to the overhead bin. It's for one very specific thing: time. Airport assistance may help you reach the gate. Pre-boarding helps you get onto the aircraft without being rushed. If you need extra time or assistance to board, tell the gate agent before boarding begins. You don't need to announce your medical history, you just need to clearly say what you need. Try this. "I need a little extra time to board. May I pre-board, please?" That extra time can make a real difference. You can walk down the jet bridge without people closing in behind you, step into the aircraft at your pace, and settle your cane, medical device, or small bag before the aisle jams up. One clarification, this is for passengers who genuinely need extra time or help. It's not a shortcut for overhead bin space. And if you're traveling with family, usually only one person who is actually helping you may board with you. Used for the right reason, pre-boarding helps you board safely and calmly. But boarding is only a few minutes. A bad layover can eat 3 hours of your day before anyone even calls your group. A long layover changes people. At hour 1, you're fine. At hour 3, you're eating a sad airport sandwich next to a charging outlet that doesn't work. This is where a benefit you already paid for may quietly matter. Not a new card, not a sign-up pitch. The card already in your wallet may include lounge access, discounted visits, or a membership like Priority Pass that you never activated. But lounge access is full of fine print. Some programs require enrollment first, some use a digital membership card or QR code, some cover only the cardholder, some charge for guests, some limit how many visits you get each year. So search your card benefits for airport lounge access, activate anything that needs activation, and check the lounges at your actual airport. If the benefit applies, a long layover gets a little less miserable. Quieter seats, Wi-Fi, snacks, drinks, cleaner bathrooms, and a place to breathe before the flight. If it doesn't apply, at least you found out before, standing at the lounge desk with a line behind you. Now, a lounge can rescue the wait. However, it can't rescue you from a seat your body can't handle. Some seat requests are preferences, window or aisle, front or back, anywhere that doesn't come with 5 hours of bathroom door traffic. Then there are seats that decide whether the flight is physically manageable. If you have limited mobility, a stiff knee, a medical device, trouble transferring into a seat, or difficulty sitting behind a fixed armrest, call the airline's accessibility desk and explain the issue in plain language. Waiting until boarding can make this much harder, because by then, the aisle is packed and everyone behind you has turned into a luggage-powered bulldozer. Say, I have trouble getting into a seat with a fixed armrest. I need an aisle seat with a movable armrest if one is available. Or, I have limited knee movement and need help finding a seat where I can sit safely. You're asking for a seat that lets you board, sit, and get up without turning the flight into a wrestling match with row 24. If your travel companion needs to sit beside you because they help with mobility, communication, or safety, say that too. My companion assists me during the flight, so we need to be seated together. Extra legroom seats, exit rows, premium cabins, and aircraft layouts all come with their own rules. But if the seat is tied to accessibility, raise the issue through the airline's accessibility channel instead of paying first and hoping someone fixes it later. That phone call is a lot easier than trying to solve it at the gate while boarding has already started and everyone behind you is pretending not to listen. And the seat is only part of the accessibility puzzle. The item you bring on board can cause trouble too, especially if someone at the gate mistakes medical equipment for just another bag. Some items are more than luggage: a cane, a walker, a CPAP machine, portable medical equipment, mobility aids. They travel with you because you need them to travel safely. If you need a medical device or assistive device, airlines often have to treat it differently from regular baggage. In many cases, it shouldn't count against your normal carry-on allowance. That matters because gate agents are strict about bags, especially on full flights. But a medical device isn't something you casually send away because the overhead bins are having a bad day. For CPAP machines, oxygen-related devices, or battery-powered mobility aids, go straight to the airline's medical equipment rules and look closely at the battery limits. That's the detail that can create problems at the counter. At the airport, keep the wording clear. This is a medical device I need during travel. It shouldn't count as my regular carry-on. If the item needs to stay with you, say that too. I need access to this during the flight. For walkers, canes, and mobility aids, ask the crew where they want it stored. Sometimes it can go in a closet, overhead bin, or be checked at the aircraft door and returned when you land. The key is to separate medical gear from ordinary luggage in everyone's mind. Label it, know the battery rules, and speak up before someone tags it like a spare duffel bag. That same wrong category problem can cost you money too. Some travelers buy the regular fare because they never realize the airline may price them differently. This isn't the flashiest tip in the video, but it may be the easiest one to test. If you're 65 or older, don't treat the first airfare you see as the final answer. While pricing the trip, look for a senior fare option or passenger type. United, for example, has shown a senior passenger option for travelers 65 and older on some searches. American has also offered senior fare options in certain booking paths. The key word is some routes, some dates, some airlines. If you don't see it online, call and ask. Do you offer any senior discount for this route? Now, don't stop there. A senior fare isn't automatically the lowest fare. A public sale fare, basic economy, ticket, or other promotion can still beat it. So treat the senior fare as one price to compare, not a guaranteed deal. And if you're in the US, AARP-style travel discounts may be worth checking too, especially when airline senior fares don't show up. The whole move takes about a minute. Compare the final prices side by side, then book what's actually cheaper. Airlines count on people buying the first price they see. A few extra clicks can keep that from being you. And after all that price checking, there's still one thing the booking page can't promise: the empty aisle seat you notice after everyone sits down. You spot an empty aisle seat a few rows away. Your knees notice it first. Before you grab your bag and relocate like you just bought property in row 18, pause for a second. Seat changes on board can happen, but the timing matters. Don't ask while people are still boarding. That's when flight attendants are counting passengers, checking bags, closing bins, answering questions, and trying to get the plane out on time. Wait until boarding is finished. Better yet, wait until after takeoff, when the seatbelt sign is off and the crew has a better moment to check. Then ask, "I see that aisle seat is open. Would it be okay if I moved there after takeoff?" That small courtesy matters. You're not putting the crew on the spot. You're letting them check whether the seat is actually available, whether weight and balance matters on that flight, and whether the seat belongs to a higher cabin or paid section. That last part is important. A regular economy seat may be possible. A premium economy seat, exit row, or business class seat usually isn't something the crew can just hand out because your knees made a convincing argument. Still, if there's an open seat in the same cabin and you ask at the right time, you may get a yes. And if you get a no, don't turn it into a negotiation. A simple, "No problem, thank you for checking," keeps the flight pleasant for everyone. Sometimes the best seat on the plane is simply the one you asked about without making it weird. But if the problem stops being comfort and starts becoming a disability rights issue, asking nicely may not be enough. That's when 3 letters can change who handles the conversation. There are 3 letters most passengers never say at the airport. CRO. That stands for Complaint Resolution Official. Every US airline is required to have access to a CRO at airports they serve during operating hours. This person is trained to handle disability-related disputes on the spot, in person, or by phone. So, if wheelchair assistance disappears, pre-boarding gets denied, your accessibility seating issue is brushed off, or your medical device is being treated like an ordinary bag, don't turn the gate into a shouting match. Stay calm and say, "I'd like to speak with the CRO, please." That sentence changes the room. You're no longer just arguing with whoever happens to be at the counter, you're asking for the person responsible for making sure the airline follows federal disability rules. Use this for real accessibility problems, not ordinary travel complaints like a bad snack box or a middle seat. The CRO is not airport customer service with a fancier title. But when you genuinely need disability-related help and you're being denied, those 3 letters can matter. Most travelers never say them. Now you know when to? The airport rewards people who know the right words at the right moment. A meal request, an escort pass, a wheelchair assist, a refund question, a CRO. None of these require a speech. They require timing, clarity, and knowing which option fits your situation. If this saves you even one future airport headache, hit like, subscribe for more travel tips that actually help, and share it with someone who always says, "I'll just figure it out at the airport." And drop this in the comments. What's one thing an airline, gate agent, or flight attendant helped you with that you didn't even know you could ask for? Your story might save someone else from learning it the hard way. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.